So today we are going to take these hydrangeas and do the lazy man's way of making a hydrangea wreath, which is basically using the grapevine, taking these hydrangea blooms and taking the stems, sticking them into the grapevine, rather than using a metal wire and wrapping the wire around the flowers on the metal wreaths. Those metal wreaths with the wire, they intimidate me a little bit, so I'm going to take the more easier route and do this grapevine wreath. So I'm looking here for spindly stems that I can just cut off at the base from this plant that need to be pruned anyways, and leave most of the thick ones on. Now, even if we deadhead some of the thick stems, they should be fine. These hydrangeas are panicles. They are limelight prime from Proven Winners, and they grow on new wood, so they should be fine to snip for cut flowers. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this. And where you clip right above a bud.
Meant above a nodule.
So now we have our first flower. These blooms are gorgeous. I can't let these ones go to waste. These ones are all spindly and they're flopping over, so I'm going to go ahead and cut all of these down at the base. Hopefully I have enough, but I may have to go get some more. I may end up adding a few dahlias in here along with these hydrangeas. We'll see how it goes. I've never made one of these wreaths before. My mother was the one who was really good at crafting and making all sorts of bows and wreaths and all of that stuff. She actually did the flowers for my wedding. I am not good at that kind of a thing, but my mom was. Funny thing was, she was not a gardener. I am the one that had to like go out and make sure everything got watered and taken care of, because all of her plants and flowers would die if I didn't. So I was the one who took care of the plants. She was the one that arranged everything afterwards. We made a great team, but this is my first attempt, at least by myself, without my mom, to make this wreath. So we'll see how it goes. So here I am taking off all of the leaves so that the stem of the hydrangea goes into the grapevine easier. Yeah, one of these days I will probably attempt to add greenery in my wreaths with the flowers, but for right now, since this is my first one, I just want straight flowers, nothing else. And so we'll see how this turns out. I am leaving the last set of leaves on just below the flower bud. Now, I realized as I was doing this that I should have put the hydrangeas one right after the other, one going one way and one going the other way, which I eventually do, but I should have started out that way. I was just trying to like make the biggest blooms that I had go all throughout the wreath evenly, because I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough blooms to cover the whole thing. And it turned out I had plenty enough blooms, but I should have done it back to back. It would have been easier. I wouldn't have had to try to fill in the gaps later. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. Now, sometimes these stems are a little bit more tricky to get in between the grapevine and weave them through. This particular stem was being one of those tricky ones. Actually, that's not bad at all. think that does it. And then I'm going to leave this part open a little bit for the ribbon. Now I'm just gonna cut all the extras off the back, sticking out too far. Actually, it's not that bad. It could probably use a few more, maybe like right there, maybe here, over there, and up there. Maybe that right there. Actually, there is one right there. It's just not a big one. I may have to refluff that one. But for right now, I'm calling it good. And I'll work on the ribbon and refluffing a different time. So as you can see, it's a different day. I had to wait until the ribbon got here. I ordered the ribbon online and it took a while to get delivered. And so now I'm going to be adding the ribbon. And I'm going to cut a few more flowers, hydrangea flowers, because just to fill in the gaps. And as you can see, it's been a little while. These hydrangea flowers are already starting to dry out a bit since I had put the rest of it together. So here I am tying the ribbon just into a knot, and then I'm going to turn the ribbon so that that knot is directly behind the wreath so you can't see it. Now, you could cut off the extra tails of the ribbon here, but I don't think I did. I left it on just in case it was loose and I had to retie them again. But once I add the hydrangeas, you really can't see them. Now, after I add in these hydrangea blooms to fill in the gaps, this wreath will be done. And you can hang this wreath on your door frame with the ribbon either by putting a 3M contact sticker on the back of the door frame, or you could use a thumbtack to put it on the back of the door frame. I've done both. It kind of depends on what door you have. If you have a metal door, then a contact hanger would probably be a better idea, because trying to stick a thumbtack through a metal door is probably impossible. I've never done that myself. And there we have it. It's done. Now I realized afterwards, after looking at it, I probably should have made the ribbon longer, and I'll probably go back and recut a longer piece of ribbon off. And I see a couple more gaps that I probably could and should have put in a couple more blooms. But it's done, and I'll hang it on the door in November after Halloween is over. Thanks for watching. And until next time, feed the pollinators for me.